mean, it's very similar
Yeah.
to the stuff in the tribulation. And I had never read it before, and it's like, no. You need
The
to
pattern.
the pattern, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, is it prophetic, or has it happened, or is it going to happen in the future? And the answer is
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have I have a study on the multiple parallels between the book of Matthew, particularly Matthew 24, and the story of the Maccabees.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parallels between those two. So I think it's a good observation that there's a very prophetic sort of feel to Maccabees.
Well, and it talks about even in Revelation as far as the temple being desecrated, I mean, and the altar being desecrated and all that. And it's like, oh, wow, I've heard this before. I just had never read the book of Maccabees and knew that story.
Well, welcome to first night. We're not going to get into the reading right away, but we'll have the readings on the screen. I know that Cece's Bible has them, and Jim's does as well. But
Oh, I forgot about that.
I
almost brought that.
we'll have it on the screen for these particular readings, so you can follow along with that.
Starting this one.
All right, so let's go ahead and get ready to light the first light of the menorahs, the Chanukiahs on the table. The way we light it is we light the shamash, and then we light the first light. And so go ahead and light your shamash.
I'll take a match and pass the box down that way.
Molly, you need to set it, please. Set it.
That's
what I sprayed it.
Yeah, nope, put a little bit of
No,
melted on the
I
bottom
think
of
I
it.
got it.
Maybe.
That's your turn.
Oh, you have trick matches, I guess, huh?
Shake it.
Oh, okay. Z, you have trick matches?
I don't know. I kind of didn't.
Maybe that's not a good box anymore.
Pass
Oh.
it.
There it goes.
Yeah, I pushed him down, but I'm hoping your candle stays in. Might hold and push that one when you light it.
Oh, okay. Actually, I put them through the pencil sharpener, the end of it, so that it makes it a little smaller, so I can shove it in better.
That's a good idea. Try that.
So,
Well, the blessing is on the screen.
so, so.
Please stand for the blessing, beginning with Baruch Atah. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'higianu l'chad l'kner shel Chanukah. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai our Elohim, King of the universe, who sanctified us by his commandments, allowed us to kindle the light of Hanukkah. Amen. All right, go ahead and use your shamash to light your first candle.
And you go from
Right
right
to
to
left.
left.
Right, correct. That's why this one really could be, I need to reglue it.
Don't do it real hard.
Then came Hanukkah. Then came Hanukkah in Jerusalem. It was winter, and Yeshua was walking around inside the temple area in Shlomo's colonnade. Psalms and Proverbs. Adonai is my light and salvation. Whom do I need to fear? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. Of whom should I be afraid? For the mitzvah is a lamp, Torah is light, and reproofs the discipline of the way to life. Sha'asa Nisim. Should be, type on that, should be Baruch, not Baruch. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avotenu bayamim bazman hazeh. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai our Elohim, King of the universe, perform miracles for our fathers in those days at this time. Amen. Shechianu, he who has kept us alive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu v'kimanu v'gianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai our Elohim, King of the universe, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this season. Amen. Hanerot Hallelu. Hanerot Hallelu. We kindle these lights to commemorate the miracles and the wonders and the acts of salvation and the battles that you fought on behalf of our ancestors long ago at this time through your righteous priests. And during all the 8 days of Hanukkah, these lights are set apart. We only behold these lights in order to give thanks and to praise your great name for your miracles and your wonders and for Yeshua Shekha, our salvation. The light of the world. Yeshua spoke to them again, saying, Anoki or Ha'olam, I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in darkness, will have or Ha'chaim, the light of life. Lesson for our reading. Al Hanasim, Va'al Haduchan, Va'al Hagvorot, Va'al Hachavot, Va'al Hamilchamot. She'asita la'avotenu v'imotenu bayamim ha'hem bazman hazeh. We thank you for the miracles, for the redemption, for the mighty deeds and saving acts brought about by you, and for the war that you waged for our ancestors on the days of old at this season. Amen. You may be seated. So I'll be reading the text here. It's from, this is the first section, it's in 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verses 20 through 64. After subduing Egypt, Antiochus returned to the 143rd year. He went up against Israel and came to Jerusalem with a strong force. He arrogantly entered the sanctuary and took the golden altar, the lampstand for the light, and all its utensils. He took also the table for the bread of the presence, the cups for drink offerings, the bowls, the golden censers, the curtain, the crowns, and the gold decoration on the front of the temple. He stripped it all off. He took the silver and the gold and the costly vessels. He took also the hidden treasures that he found. Taking them all, he went into his own land. He shed much blood and spoke with great arrogance. Israel mourned deeply in every community. Rulers and elders groaned. Young women and young men became faint. The beauty of the women faded. Every bridegroom took up the lament. She who sat in the bridal chamber was mourning. Even the land trembled for its inhabitants, and all the house of Jacob was clothed with shame. 2 years later, the king sent to the cities of Judah a chief collector of tribute. And he came to Jerusalem with a large force. Deceitfully, he spoke peaceable words to them, and they believed him. But he suddenly fell upon the city, dealt it a severe blow, and destroyed many people of Israel. He plundered the city, burned it with fire, and tore down its houses and its surrounding walls. They took captive the women and children and seized the livestock. They fortified the city of David with a great strong wall and with strong towers, and it became their citadel. They stationed there a sinful people, men who were renegades. These strengthened their position. They stored up arms and food, and collecting the spoils of Jerusalem, they stored from there and became a great menace. For the citadel became an ambush against the sanctuary, an evil adversary of Israel at all times. On every side of the sanctuary, they shed innocent blood. They even defiled the sanctuary. Because of them, the residents of Jerusalem fled. She became a dwelling of strangers. She became strange to her offspring, and her children forsook her. Her sanctuary became desolate like a desert. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into a reproach, her honor into contempt. Her dishonor now grew as great as her glory. Her exaltation was turned into mourning. Then the king wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and that all should give up their particular customs. All the Gentiles accepted the command of the king, many even from Israel gladly adopted his religion. They sacrificed to idols and profaned the Sabbath. And the king sent letters by messenger to Jerusalem and the towns of Judah. He directed them to follow customs strange to the land, to forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the sanctuary, and to profane Sabbaths and festivals, to defile the sanctuary and the priests, to build altars and sacred precincts and shrines for idols, to sacrifice swine and other unclean animals, and to leave their sons uncircumcised. They were to make themselves abominable by everything unclean and profane, so that they would forget the Torah and change all the ordinances. He added, and whoever does not obey the command of the king shall die. In such words he wrote to his whole kingdom. He appointed inspectors over all the people and commanded the towns of Judah to offer sacrifice town by town. Many of the people, everyone who forsook the Torah, joined them, and they did evil in the land. They drove Israel into hiding in every place of refuge they had. Now in the 15th day of Kislev, in the 145th year, they erected a desolating sacrilege on the altar of burnt offering. He also built altars in the surrounding towns of Judah and offered incense at the doors of the houses and in the streets. The books of the Torah they found, they tore to pieces and burned with fire. Anyone possessing the book of the covenant or anyone who adhered to the Torah was condemned to death by decree of the king. They kept using violence against Israel, against those who were found month after month in the towns. On the 25th day of the month, they offered sacrifice on the altar that was on top of the altar of burnt offering. According to the decree, they put to death the women who had their children circumcised, and their families and those who circumcised them, and they hung the infants for their mothers' necks. But many in Israel stood firm and were resolved in their hearts to not eat unclean meat. They chose to die rather than to be defiled by unclean meat or to profane the holy covenant, and they did die. Very great wrath came upon Israel. Chapter 4. When Lysias saw the rout of his troops and observed the boldness of those of Judah, and now ready they were to live or to die nobly, he withdrew to Antioch and enlisted mercenaries in order to invade Judea, again with an even larger army. Then Judas and his brothers said, "See, our enemies are crushed. Let us go up to cleanse the sanctuary and dedicate it." So all the army assembled and went up to Mount Zion. There they saw the sanctuary desolate, the altar profaned, and the gates burned. In the courts they saw bushes spring up as a thicket, or as one of the mountains. They saw also the chambers of the priests in ruins. Then they tore their clothes and mourned with great lamentation. They sprinkled themselves with ashes and fell face down on the ground when the signal was given with the trumpets that cried out to heaven. Then Judas detailed men to fight against those in the citadel until he had cleansed the sanctuary. He chose blameless priests devoted to the Torah, and they cleansed the sanctuary and removed the defiled stones to an unclean place. They deliberated what to do about the altar burnt offering, which had been profaned, and they thought it best to tear it down so that it would not be a lasting shame to them that the Gentiles had defiled it. So they tore down the altar and stored the stones in a convenient place on the temple hill until a prophet should come to tell them, or to tell what to do with them. They took unhewn stones as the Torah directs and built a new altar like the former one. They also rebuilt the sanctuary and the interior of the temple and consecrated the courts. They made new holy vessels and brought the lampstand, the altar of incense, and the table into the temple. Then they offered incense on the altar and lit the lamps on the lampstand, and these gave light in the temple. They placed the bread on the table and hung up the curtains. Thus they finished all the work they had undertaken. Early in the morning, on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is the month of Kislev, in the 148th year, they rose and offered sacrifice as the Torah directs on the new altar burnt offering that they had built. At the very season, the very day the Gentiles had profaned it, it was dedicated with songs and harps and lutes and cymbals. All the people fell on their faces and worshiped and blessed heaven, who had prospered them. So they celebrated dedication of the altar for 8 days, and joyfully offered burnt offerings. They offered a sacrifice of well-being and a thanksgiving offering. They decorated the front of the temple with golden crowns and small shields. They restored the gates and the chambers for the priests and fitted them with doors. There was very great joy among the people, and the disgrace brought by the Gentiles was removed. Then Judas and his brothers and all the assembly of Israel determined that every year at that season the days of dedication of the altar should be observed with joy and gladness for 8 days, beginning with the 25th day of the month of Kislev, which is started now at sunset this evening. That's where we are. So have the opportunity to enjoy some food together before we spin some dreidels and play a game of
Or we gamble.
gamble or
Yeah, hope you brought your money.
shot coins maybe. Anyway, the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekol niyeh bidbaro. Blessed are you, Adonai our Elohim, King of the universe, who creates all things through his word. Amen.
Now Wayne will sing a number.
Play that. And get your spaghetti or whatever you'd like to get over there.
She stayed home. Well, just, she can't hear. Yeah, and it frustrates her when she can't hear, so, Molly, you can get them. Okay.
Terminology that's used too.
Heather's walking here from 38th Street.
What? That's,
Can
can you go look for her?
She sent,
Was she walking along Cash Road?
no, she's
I don't know.
out at, must be Rogers Lane. Down by Rogers Lane.
That doesn't sound safe.
Candles blaze, firelight
Oh,
glow.
she's down by the
Ancient tales,
storage.
time moves slow.
Well, that's way down there.
Cradles
Well,
spin all night
It's north
long.
of 38th
Children's
Street.
Next slide up.
laughter keeps
It's
us
like-
Just the next slide up.
She's in that neighborhood.
Miracle shining bright.
Tony said she's got
Days turned
the
dark
impact.
to light.
Why isn't Heather here with him?
Freedom's cry echoes through the midnight sky.
Tony
Festival of light
said he's
burning
at the impact center. He's
free.
trusted
The
there.
hope for all eternity. Rise up, sing it loud and clear. Hanukkah spirit always
We are at the
near.
entrance. I know.
There's a trick there, yeah. Yes. Yes, no water in there. Well, I'm just following that. Okay, go ahead and continue. I'm just put it in there.
Candles lit one by one. Stories told of battles won. Faith and hope in every flame keeps us warm through winter's claim. Spinning cradles, colors
I looked for it.
flash.
I have not.
Joy and hope in every flash. Freedom's call
feast of-
never fades.
the feast last year.
In the light of candles made.
I'm not somewhere else.
Festival of light burning free. The hope for all eternity. Rise up, sing it loud and clear. Hanukkah spirit always near.
You don't cook at all?
lights burning free.
That's not here.
With hope for all eternity. Rise up singing loud and clear. Hanukkah spirit always near. Candles lit one by one. Stories told about each one. Faith and hope in every flame keeps us warm through winter's clay. Spinning cradles, colors flash.
I've heard of them, but I've never had it, so.
They're like a fried potato
Joy
cake, she said.
Freedom's called never fade in the light of candles. Festival of light burning free.
That's just how they're raising them.
Always had them.
The only time I've seen them have it.
Rise up singing loud and clear.